the answers, no answers. I could find you, I could find
From the Sporting News Studios, this is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Matt Litevsky.
I got all the answers, all the answers. I could find you, I could find all the answers. If you let me get it close and study you.
First three-man pod of the season. You guys excited?
Not when you say it like that. It was kind of
How
weird.
did I say it?
I don't know what a three-man pod is.
You go?
I don't.
I'm kind of excited, I'll be honest.
See, there you go. That's the spirit. As they already know, I am Matt Litevsky. It was in the intro.
That's okay.
It was in the
It's
intro.
quite presumptive of you.
They already know. They heard it.
Were you expecting someone else?
James Eckhouse, that one. That was in honor of 90210 being back, even though Eckhouse isn't on it. But
BH.
loyal fans of the Hot Corner Baseball podcast.
They know.
They remember that reference. We're still waiting for Mike Fires, by the way, to get that, to see if he can get the win in that suspended game. We'll figure it out eventually. But I am Matt Litevsky, Sporting News Fantasy Senior Editor, here with Sporting News Fantasy Intern, Billy Hayen, and Fantasy Football Commissioner, Eric Ferreira, also a DAZN employee.
I do work here.
You do work here, so you're semi.
I just do my commissioning on the side.
That's right. It's an important job, though.
Never during work hours.
You wore your polo shirt today, your athletic polo Under Armour.
I get hot when I draft, man. I get hot when I draft.
Well, hey, when you're a commissioner, you got to dress the part, so we got that. We've already done all our season previews, most of which now are woefully outdated because of injuries and holdouts and
Frostbite
and all sorts of stuff
Helmets.
like that.
Helmetgate.
Helmets. But, still,
That's the same guy, man. Frostbite and helmet.
All those.
Same guy. Unbelievable.
blonde mustaches. But go listen. They're not totally outdated. If
Wait,
you just,
Blood, did you see what Jerry Jones said today? Unbelievable. Hold on.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah, I'll come back.
All right, we'll get to that.
In like 2 seconds, it's about the holdouts.
Yeah, good tease. But go listen to those. You can find them. You go to Sport News Fantasy. You can find all our stuff, obviously, for the preseason. Our cheat sheet has all our podcasts listed.
You definitely want to hit up that defense rankings
The
podcast.
defense was a big one.
You
We
definitely-
killed that one.
That's not outdated at all. That's still
That's
very
true. It's
current.
pretty
The
solid.
schedule hasn't changed.
Yep.
That's right. But a few things are maybe outdated. Like, okay, if the Colts are starting Jacoby Brissett week 1, is that suddenly a good matchup?
He plays offense. Oh,
I
you mean
know.
for teams playing the Colts?
No, I'm aware
I
what
was
position he
I was
plays.
like, should we drop their defense?
Just saying, it's a different. We're looking at things differently. Yeah. So, but anyway, you can find all that stuff. We'll talk about that more for this podcast. We're gonna run down a mock draft Billy did earlier this week, and it's a Superflex league.
Superflex, huh?
Superflex. I thought you were gonna sing what you were singing earlier. Got gunshot.
That wasn't the right time for it.
And, I think Superflexes are becoming more, or 2QB, because Superflex is basically a 2QB league. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it.
Right.
A 2 QB league with some outs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think these are becoming more popular. We know there's so many good quarterbacks. It's almost to the point where you should have a Superflex, at least,
Superflex.
10 teams. There we go. Now he's singing. I think you got to pay
Kind
for
of easing
that.
my way into it.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I think this is something more people are playing, or at least thinking about playing. Should we go this route? If you are jumping into it this year, whether you're just thinking about it, we're going to go through this mock draft, sort of run down, talk some strategy, look at what happened, look at the results, how you might want to approach it. And obviously, at least the order of guys are drafted in other positions can be translated to non-2QB or non-Superflex leagues. So there's some interesting stuff there we'll talk about. What do you got for me on Jerry Jones, by the way? We teased it. We got to pay it off.
So he's speaking sort of about the contract stuff, but it really. So I'm just gonna. This is quoting Jerry Jones.
All right.
Picture you were a driver of a car and you had a wreck and your hand was almost severed off, but you didn't understand your anatomy. You look down, you're spurting blood. You open the door and run to the woods. And either die bleeding to death or shock. The educated man looks down, knows his anatomy, squeezes, and knows his.
Is this a poem? How long does this go on for?
And knows his best chance is to wait for help. That's because he's been there a lot and done that. So I'm squeezing and waiting for help. So
That's
Jerry
it?
says he's not going to run and just give $8 million gazillion to all his players,
What a
I guess.
bizarre quote. That makes me think he's going.
Can we open our eyes
senile.
now?
Yeah.
He's going senile?
He's been there, man.
I mean, he seems pretty in control, but yeah.
So does that make you feel more or less like Elliott will be in for week 1?
Less.
Honestly, is somebody bleeding?
Or wait, is he
somebody
gonna
bleeding?
cut someone's hand off? I don't know what to make of that. It's a
right.
bit confusing. But
Thank God we waited for that, though.
I was
I'm sad I couldn't keep myself together during it.
I thought it was going to come back around to football at some point, but it never really
You got to
did.
get better with your reads.
Yeah. No, we'll work
You
on
would have
that.
read that better than I did.
Well, I would have prepared a little better.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
fair.
He is king of preparation over there. Eric Ferrer.
Yeah, I got tons of notes today.
So, no, I mean, we are kind of winging this one. Obviously, Billy did the draft, so he should be able to take us through it. And we'll get
Hopefully.
his picks. You had the 3 pick, which is a good spot to have, obviously. But we could right away. Let's get into the whole strategy of a super flex or 2 QB. You know, I think a lot of people would want to take one quarterback early. But if you have the 3 pick, you kind of have to still take the running back.
Right, that was my thinking. I think if with Zeke being sort of a question mark, you have Barkley, McCaffrey, and Kamara sort of atop everybody else.
Right.
And so I figured heading in, I didn't know that I had the 3 pick until I opened it up right before the mock. But once I had a top 3, I was like, I'll get one of those 3
Right.
and then work my team around them. I think if I had anything outside of 3, I would have started to think about Mahomes.
Okay.
But top 3, it was pretty straightforward to me that I wanted one of those guys.
So going in, were you like, I want my first quarterback by round, fill in the blank?
So I guess I didn't set it that specifically in my head. My thought, and the first quarterback run came a little earlier than I expected, but my thought was that at my second round pick, back heading into the turn, that there would be 1 or even 2 top 5 guys still there, and maybe even go 2 on that turn, or at least 1 guy. It felt like anyone through, I guess, Mayfield felt to me like, yeah, I'd be good taking them in the second round at pick 22. But then Mahomes, Watson, Luck, Rodgers, and Mayfield all went off the board. Matt Ryan I could have taken, but he wasn't as exciting for me, so I didn't go that route. But that was my thinking. Once those 5 were off right away, I sort of settled in like I'm going to wait on quarterback again, which is what I've done in the other couple mocks I've done, and that's worked out fine.
Right, which have been single QB leagues.
Right.
Sort of the same philosophy. Even in a 2 QB league, there's a lot of really good ones. What would your philosophy be on that?
I mean, in hindsight, waiting is definitely still fine here. After that second round, it looks like they went, unless I missed a guy,
There were
3 rounds.
without it, yep.
3 rounds without a guy. So yeah, those top couple guys came off. I'd still look to take a running back, definitely in the 3 spot.
Right.
But anywhere in the top of the first round, I'd still want a running back. I'd still maybe want to do it in the second round too.
Right.
Because even if you don't get a top 5 quarterback, you should still be able to get 2 in the top, 15. It still holds that there are a bunch of good quarterbacks this year. So whether or not you need to play 2 of them, and you don't even have to play 2 of them here.
Right.
You want to, but I look back down. I don't want to jump too far ahead with some of these guys in the draft, but there's some pretty good quarterbacks or teams that got 2 quarterbacks later that should still feel all right. This guy's got Cam and Breeze.
Right.
That's fine. I have no problem setting my lineup with Cam and
Well,
Breeze.
and you got your boy Josh Allen as a 3rd. So
Exactly.
Whew,
So that's the
nothing to
most
worry
value
about.
you got right there. And he got five position players or skill position players before he had to take Cam.
Right.
So I think these guys in the first round, I think they overdrafted a bit. The guy who took Luck and Mayfield, I think he definitely overdrafted.
Right, let's run through it here. We'll sort of bounce around a little bit, but just sticking on the quarterbacks. In the first round, the first quarterback off the board, Patrick Mahomes, went 8th overall. And then 9th, Deshaun Watson. 11th, Andrew Luck. 12th, Aaron Rodgers. 14th, Baker Mayfield. So the guy that jumps out there, obviously Luck with the injury, that could look really bad here in a couple weeks. Right now you're doing a mock and still, early to mid-August. Yeah, you can take Andrew Luck there. Aaron Rodgers seems too high to me, 12th pick. Don't need to do it. Now that person on the 12-13 swing might say, well, it's going to be a whole lot of picks before it gets back to me in the 3rd round, so I'm definitely taking a
And you don't know
quarterback
what's
now.
going to happen. You can't stop a
no
run.
idea.
You can't see a run come. You're not in the middle of a run. So I get it for him grabbing 1.
Right, but Rodgers, I don't know. I don't feel like Rodgers is quite, might sound crazy to say given his reputation. I don't know if he's quite good enough.
Yeah, he's just safe.
Yeah, I like him.
We talked about him last year, 250 and 2.
Right.
That's what you're getting.
Well, but he was
too
playing
often.
last year with an amputated leg most of the season.
Yeah,
so
that
that's
did get
important.
worse as the weeks went on.
Interesting that got better.
Look, the guy's a miracle of modern science. So Luck and Mayfield, that was the only person, guy had the 11th pick, took Luck and Mayfield first 2 rounds. The only person to go quarterback. The only one to even take 2 quarterbacks in the first 6 rounds or 5 rounds.
I think he totally overdid it.
Seems that way, right?
And his running backs, I think, turned out fine.
They did. He took 3rd round, 4th round, Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones, which is okay. Neither one of those guys are an RB1.
Right.
But Jones, maybe.
Yeah. No,
breakout.
he ended up fine there, in my opinion.
Right. But receivers where he
is
took
weak.
the heat.
Yep.
Hit. Yeah.
And is this a PPR league? It is, right?
PPR.
Full point P. And also, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a regular flex, and a super flex. No defense, no kicker.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, well, we all do.
So you still need bodies at those positions.
Absolutely.
Right.
They're still just
And I
as
still
important.
think, like, when you add up starters and how many you're playing, like quarterback, even if you're playing 2 of them,
Right.
even if the whole league's playing 2 of them, there's still enough for everyone.
Right.
I do think that's the trap you fall in a format that's a little less popular. Like if you're doing a Superflex league, you're picking at the end of the round there, like guy at 11, guy at 12. You're like, man, I just saw a couple quarterbacks go off the board in front of me. Are 8 or 9 more going to go off the board? And then all of a sudden you're looking at
Trubisky is your QB1.
right.
But it probably
I
isn't
can see
gonna
the
happen that
fear.
way.
Like I wonder if.
But that goes for the Rodgers guy, not necessarily for the Luck guy. Like, my problem is the guy taking 2 right off the bat and starting his
Right.
team that way.
Well, right.
The Rodgers guy, I get it. Like, I get being in that spot and being like, I better get one because I'm not going for, 36 picks, or no, 24?
Yeah.
24 picks.
Right.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It almost feels like the guy who went Luck Mayfield 1-2 was like, this is a mock draft. I don't really care, so I'm going to try this out.
There's that angle too.
I mean, you got to peacock in a mock draft. You got to take the shiny rookies and all those picks.
We've
that
also
look
talked
cool.
about there's always going to be a guy that maybe reaches a little bit on Baker.
Yeah.
And like, if this happens to be the guy that wanted to reach on Baker, like he wasn't going to get to reach on him after this. Like
Right.
Baker would have been gone by the time it got back to him. So
Right.
I
So-
guess maybe it's an overreach on Baker and it doesn't fit with his first pick. But
Yeah, it wasn't
that
like
guy.
I couldn't believe he was still there. I was like,
but you
there's
said
picks in
2
the
running
league.
back, 3 wide, and a regular flex.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
6.
And super flex.
Right. So 6 guys before you even get to your quarterbacks that you're gonna need to fill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll run down the first round, and it's PPR again. Barkley, McCaffrey, Kamara, no surprises in the top 3. Then we had a David Johnson 4, which I think is an overdraft. I'm not quite as high on David Johnson as others, but okay. Then we had Zeke. So he got penalized 1 spot basically for the for the holdout worries. Right. Then Le'Veon Bell. Then DeAndre Hopkins, the only wide receiver taken in the first round. Then you had the quarterbacks I mentioned. In between those guys were James Conner. So pretty typical first round, I would say, for the non-quarterbacks. And Johnson maybe a little high, but people are high on him. Kyler Murray looked good in 1 preseason drive, so that's inflating everything for the Cardinals. So then it gets a little interesting in the second round. Devontae Adams, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb. We talked at length about him in the running back podcast, how he's such a tough guy to evaluate. I think this is too high, period, right? Even if Kareem Hunt wasn't on the roster. But you kind of get it. If you just say, I'm not worried about Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb's a superior athlete, right? We talked about that.
Yep.
I guess that's where he goes.
But here's the thing. You said you think this is too high even if there was no Kareem Hunt. What running back taken after him do you like substantially more than him? I mean, you've got the Gurley wild card.
Right. Gurley. I mean, I like Kerryon Johnson this year. I like Joe Mixon. And then, Melvin Gordon wild card. So there's a couple wild cards there.
I mean, Mixon could be better than Chubb, sure. Kerryon could be better than Chubb, sure. But, I don't think that they're just
I'm just saying
take him over
I would have
Chubb.
taken some of these wide receivers over him.
Sure.
yeah.
So the overall, because then he had the first wide receiver run, 5 in a row, ripped off Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill. About right. So now it's your pick.
Interesting
second round.
Juju was taken before Michael Thomas, though. That's another one I would definitely have taken Thomas over him.
I mean, we've talked
it's one
about
spot,
before.
but
those 8 receivers are flip a coin, so why not? So your pick, second round, you took Alvin Kamara. You're looking at the board. There's 5 quarterbacks. You don't feel great about Matt Ryan. So you pop off.
Yeah, so I went Travis Kelce.
So you pulled that ripcord, which is about right.
Right. It felt like exactly the spot he should be going.
22nd overall pick, first tight end, of course. The only one of those top 8 receivers left was Antonio Brown.
Right.
And this is when he was still saying he was going to retire before he came back to Raiders camp. The running back, I think Todd Gurley would be the guy who stands out. But you just got the best tight end. You got pretty much a sure producer.
I think I would have, any of those first 7 receivers off the board, I think I would have taken there ahead of Kelce. Once that 5 in a row went and it was Brown and his weird feet or or taking a shot and seeing. I sort of wanted to see how the draft would develop then, getting the top tight end. The first 2 mocks I did, I waited on tight end, and in one I ended up with Trey Burton, the other one I ended up with Delaney Walker.
Very unexciting.
Unexciting, and both times you sort of have to step away from taking guys with upside to like fill that spot.
Right.
And I
You mean in other positions.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so here, I'll talk about it a little later, but here Kelsey sort of set me up to sort of those mid-round picks, not even have to consider tight end.
Right, which is very nice. And you're not reaching and sort of sacrificing overall because he can put up 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. So then this is an interesting one, Matt Ryan. That's the last quarterback for 3.5 rounds, which is kind of interesting. This dude, do you think this guy did this move, the guy who had the 1 pick and did the back-to-back and took Kerryon Johnson, then Todd Gurley? Was that just so he could say he got Gurley in the 3rd round?
Oh, yeah, he doesn't want to pay him second-round money.
Right, no. He's like, I got Todd Gurley in the 3rd round.
Yeah, for sure.
Total flip. So that guy went running back
Sure.
in a super flex league. Barkley, Kerryon Johnson, Todd Gurley. That's monstrous. And you're like, that's so awesome. That guy's team must be awesome. Here are his starting receivers. Chris Godwin, Robbie Anderson, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I definitely.
I don't feel great.
Yeah, and one of my things in my drafts that I pretty much always do, and this is a little bit less important with the flex, but it's not so much like take guys at different positions so that if a guy does drop at your next pick, you can scoop him up regardless of the position. So he takes three running backs, right? If a running back 2 rounds later dropped to him, right? Would you rather have a great receiver and then that run? You know what I mean? You're just not, you can't take a 4th back in the next
a little too early
3 rounds, right? So now you're like, well, I have to take the best receiver or get my quarterbacks. And maybe there's a little more wiggle room here because you like quarterback is more important. But you just, I don't know, I just feel like you leave yourself no outs for just taking best available player when you load up on one position in those first few rounds.
I mean, I think he got good value on all those guys. You know, I guess the only thing he could have done is if he had not taken either Johnson or Gurley and taken Brown. It's probably his move because otherwise those are the best players on the board, I think, anyway.
Yeah, but, I mean, Mike Evans went to pick after. He could have easily gone Evans.
So he took Kittle, so he jumped in, first pick of the 5th round. He got one of those 3 big tight ends, so he took him early. Another reason maybe the receivers don't sound as great. His quarterbacks, he took in the 7th and 10th round. He took Carson Wentz in the 7th. That's good, right?
Yeah, that was about right compared to where the other guys went.
And then he took Sam Darnold in the 10th, which, I mean, Josh Allen was on the board, Stafford, Derek Carr. I mean, I probably would have liked any of those guys ahead of Darnold, but I suppose at that point...
A lot of people like Darnold.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, though. I'm Josh Allen all day.
Well, we know that. This guy took 3 Jets, so I'm saying he's a Jets fan. 4?
Crowder, Darnold, Anderson.
Crowder,
and he's got Barkley. He's from New York.
Ty Montgomery.
Yeah, and not very good. And none of them are Le'Veon Bell, so...
He's from New York.
Yeah. Clearly, we've cracked that case. All right. So 3rd round, backs, receivers, Zach Ertz is in there too. Pretty typical, you know, the names. These are the names you're going to see, maybe in a different order.
Before you, like, if you're already up at Ertz, this is too much for Antonio Brown.
Falling? You mean falling?
Yeah, it's too much, right?
Well, as of today, he's right back in with the other 7 top guys, I would say. Like,
did anyone really think he was going to quit football over the helmet?
I mean, I didn't, but he's got this foot thing.
The foot thing's not great.
He's not a sane person.
He's not. And the
so,
team's
when
new.
Is he just going to not try? When's he going to get suspended?
Carr's not Roethlisberger. It's a new team, new offense, all that stuff. But and again, and this is different. Like, you know, 6 quarterbacks have been taken.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think that's what makes it look the most different.
It just seems crazy that Antonio Brown's in the 3rd round.
He's the 9th receiver, so that's about right. You know, we have him 7th or 8th, wherever we have him. I mean, Mike Evans went ahead of him here. So he got dinged a little bit because I think the question marks, but... Yeah, the quarterback's being taken, but, you know, sort of overall, should he go behind Devontae Freeman? I'd say no on the overall, and that's where maybe you can question things a little bit. But
yeah, this was Monday night right after he had lost his grievance. Like, if there was a point where you're like, oh, man, what's he going to do next? Like, it was when this mock happened.
He's going to leave in his hot air balloon. So a couple interesting...
Going to go freeze his feet again.
Interesting picks in the 3rd round. Melvin Gordon, smack dab in the middle. So this is... You know, that's one of those things when you're doing your real draft, we're going to have a better idea. I mean, unless you're doing your real draft next week, which is stupid. But, all right, take him in the 3rd round. Who cares? It's a mock, right? That just feels like that. Then another interesting one, Josh Jacobs, going with the, 8th pick of the third round, ahead of Leonard Fournette, Marlon Mack, Derrick Henry, Damian Williams, Aaron Jones, several other guys. Your boy, Mark Ingram, top 7. What'd you settle on? Top 7?
Something like that.
Yeah, about that. So that's early.
That's early.
That's really early.
Early for Josh Jacobs. But other than that, pretty typical round. Adam Thielen went in that round too. Nothing crazy. You know, we can sit here and say, oh, I would have taken Ingram over fill in the blank or some things like that.
That guy's actually got an interesting team because he starts with Mahomes, right? So let's assume he gets the best quarterback. But then he makes sure he still gets Julio, so he gets a great receiver.
Maybe the best.
And then you're like, okay, well, his running backs probably suffered. Maybe they did. But then he goes Jacobs, Michelle, Lindsey, and then even Geis.
So, yeah, we talked about this before. 4 running backs in a row. The thought process being, 2 will work out.
Right. He's throwing shit against the wall, right?
Yeah.
But then even he comes back, and again, wild card. We have no idea what Kyler Murray is going to be all about. But he gets Murray, too.
Did you not see that one drive?
I tell you
6
what.
to 7.
Generational talent.
This guy's team's got some serious upside.
Well, not those receivers are weak, though.
He's got Julio, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but then you got to start 3. You start
Julio
Dante
Jones
Pettis
and
and Kiki Kuti in week 1.
Not scoring touchdown.
Waiver wire, you'll find something there.
Yeah, he's okay. He got good value on Watkins at least. No, I don't mind that team, but all 4 of those running backs, Jacobs, Michelle, Lindsey's the guy who feels like he should be better than this. He should be getting drafted higher than like the 28th running back, which is where he was in this draft. But yeah, you can't. I mean, the Broncos seem bound and determined to split carries with him and Royce Freeman.
I mean, listen, those running backs are definitely wild cards, so is Kyler Murray. But
and also in PPR, Sony Michel, no catches.
Right.
Is Jacobs going to have many catches?
I think he'll be fine in PPR. I think he's getting sold short. But
He'll be okay.
I just think it's interesting that this.
Still with
I think he's like an equal value kind of guy.
Maybe.
Like he doesn't lose.
This guy got the number 1 quarterback. Then you got a quarterback with all kinds of hype in Murray,
right?
Which you would think would be maybe tough to get. Someone would jump the gun on him. And he's got 4 running backs to throw against the wall, and he still has Julio to hold down his receiving core. It's just, I think it's somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
It's certainly interesting. That team could go a lot of ways, right? Like all those running backs could finish outside the top 30.
You know you can find receivers on the waiver wire.
Yeah. I mean, I do, but I don't know if you guys can.
I mean, I found like 1 or 2 over the years.
Yeah. Well, and his last round pick was Noah Fant, who I always read as Noah Fart every time I see his name.
Here we go with the fart jokes.
We're not going to do the sound effects. No one drafted Doug Martin, unfortunately. And then
Wait, would there have been sound effects if I had drafted Doug Martin? Because maybe I would have drafted him.
Yeah, we would have added farting noises. And it's really funny.
Should have joined us in 2018. We had all kinds of fart noises.
Eric thinks it's hilarious.
It's juvenile.
It could be both.
But good. Like, you talk about this. Okay, the other night, I'm on Twitter, as I'm wont to do. Just surfing Twitter, seeing what people are saying.
Do you surf Twitter?
I surf it.
I feel like you sort of scroll Twitter.
No, not me. I do it in a different way.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, trending topics, something whatever.
Surf through
whatever.
those.
It's usually like.
Did you catch a wave in the trending topics?
Yeah, see, now you don't need to do that. But I see, what's one of the trending topics? Dick Sweat. Like, this is what America likes. Because there was a guy named Dick Sweat who endorsed a political candidate. I mean, yeah, but he goes by Dick. My point is.
Why would he? Why would he?
America loves.
I would be Richard Sweat all day.
America loves those types of jokes.
Do they, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
They do. There was a judge here in Charlotte, and his name was Richard Boner. That's a fact.
How do you know judges in Charlotte? What are you in court for?
I saw it was. No, I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
I saw.
You were there for a friend?
It was a headline in the paper.
Oh, okay. You read the paper?
He retired.
Okay.
I get it delivered every morning.
You read the paper?
No, I
Support
saw it
local.
online.
Okay.
Support local news, man.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, 4th round. This is where
were we?
We're 4th round. Chris Godwin pops off last pick of the 4th.
Yeah,
right?
you went backwards there, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to get to Chris Godwin because I get why people like him, but it just feels like a little much.
Like he's got to be the 3rd option there, right? Behind Evans and OJ?
Well,
at least kind of.
Just throw around OJ
and it's juice. Number 1. Juice.
You can't just throw around OJ in a football podcast.
You know what?
And not get reaction.
It's a little risky.
All right, well, maybe that's what I was going for.
But no, Chris Godwin might be 2. I mean, they vacated a lot of targets with Jackson and Humphreys, and better offense theoretically. We think it's going to be a better.
People like Godwin.
People like Godwin a lot, and I just think it's a little much. But I mean, 4th round. Look at some of the receivers he went ahead of: Calvin Ridley, Julian Edelman.
All 3 Rams.
All 3 Rams.
Jules? He went ahead of Jules?
Jules, yeah, that's how they
PPR
do it.
Jules, man.
Allen Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Mike Williams. I don't know. That just seems like a lot.
I think the 3 Rams, Ridley and Edelman, probably all seem like
Tyler
Pretty
Boyd,
safely
too,
ahead of
though.
him.
I mean, Green's going to be out a
Boyd
bit.
certainly got a good
Boyd
case,
was good
too.
last year.
Right. So Godwin was pretty good last year, was sort of up. I feel like people aren't fully appreciating how bad Jameis Winston can be. Like when it's going bad. And part of like the reason some of those Bucs guys put up the numbers they did last year is because Fitzpatrick was just chucking it.
400-yard games for them.
Yeah, and I don't know. They're a weird team. I don't really know what to make of them, and it could go. I see
They're who
the
they always
scenario where
are.
it goes
They're
well.
who they always are.
Right.
They're going to have games where they like can't score or can't score for 2.5 quarters.
Right.
And you're going to be
Garbage
playing.
time.
You're going to be playing like the opposing team's defense. You're like, yes, like hold them down. And then garbage time comes.
Right.
Winston starts chucking it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's 35-32.
Right. They're a weird team. But anyway, going back to the top of the fourth round, we had some running backs, Williams, Jones, about right. Then Amari Cooper went, T.Y. Hilton, Now, where's T.Y. Hilton going to go if this luck thing is still up in the air closer to real week one?
It's not great, but if Luck's good, I mean, I have just read raving reviews around T.Y. Hilton in camp. So this almost maybe even looks a little low for him.
I don't think he falls that far if you're stuck with Brissett, though. He's like the type of...
He's stuck with Brissett.
He feels like the type of receiver that's not like... I mean, obviously, like having Andrew Luck is always good, but like he's the type of guy that makes plays after the catch, runs some shorter routes. Like he'll still get his numbers.
Well, let's look. So Luck.
All right, I'm here for it.
All right.
Luck's got an ankle now.
So Luck was out
Calf,
in
bone,
2017,
ankle.
right?
He was what?
He was out in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
T.Y. Hilton, 966 yards, 57 catches.
It's 2 years
4
ago, though. He's
touchdowns.
improved. He's grown as a player.
Okay. I'm just saying, he improved last year by 300 yards, 19 catches, touchdowns went from 4 to 6.
I just want to point out T.Y. Hilton's confidence, though. The other day, in an interview, he
Confidence
told
check.
reporters that he'd caught 29 to 30 balls in the preseason. It wasn't them tracking. It wasn't like a stat sheet that somebody handed out. It was T.Y. Hilton making sure they knew.
Does anyone else think that's weird that only 30 balls have been thrown to someone?
And
It must be an 11 out of 11, right? Like,
Also, was he like in that one I dropped? That's the one I think about.
or was he like, I caught it, but it was a little wide, so I was out of bounds, like Kyler's
Right.
pass in preseason week
Yeah,
one.
we had that. One of our contributors wrote a thing, and he was like, Kyler Murray went 6 of 7, and the incompletion was actually caught, but it was out of bounds.
I saw that. That's
And I
so
was like,
lame.
So an incompletion.
Yeah, that's so
So he
lame.
threw an incompletion. But anyway, so yeah, T.Y. Hilton, then Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Kenny Golladay, then the aforementioned Chris Godwin. I like Diggs, Golladay, maybe not Golladay, but Diggs and Allen I like over Hilton with Andrew Luck. Without Andrew Luck, I think he falls a few more spots, but we'll see. We'll know closer. We had back-to-back Pats backs. How's that make you feel?
Like, it's just weird.
Special?
Not special, no. I mean, we've already talked about Michelle. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be in and out of the lineup this
That's
year.
too high for him in PPR, right? Fourth round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way too high.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even look at Lindsey a full round later.
Right.
I mean, same guy got him, but I'd rather have Lindsey over Michelle.
Yeah. I would rather have both White and Cohen. I'd definitely rather have Ingram. Rather have Coleman.
Oh, my boy,
Rather
Ingram,
have
that's right. Top 7 back, Mike.
That's right. What,
Mike Ingram.
PPRs? He's still top 9 in PPR.
Yeah, I'd
Falls
probably
a
drop a
few
couple spots.
And then Carson, we got the report. Oh, he's going to get 50 catches or targets. And then everyone was like,
Talking that dude up.
Move him up.
Yeah, talking that dude
every
up.
positive thing I hear about him makes me want to move him down.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, Rashad Penny, I got to get
I mean,
him
with
down.
so many of these guys, the Winston Wolf theory applies, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
let's not get ahead
Carson
of ourselves.
was really good last year. I thought he was being undervalued in sort of initial rankings and whatnot. And then one report, just assistant coach running off at the mouth, or it might have been Carroll. I can't remember which one said it.
It was the OC.
Yeah, and then just all of a sudden, oh my gosh, nothing to worry about. And I'm like, nah, now I'm
dropping them.
now I'm moving out. So that's sort of, again, typical round. No quarterbacks taken. The names, yeah, they're going to change order, but about right with most of those names. Fifth round, David Montgomery gets popped off. Second pick of the fifth round, 25th back overall. This is a guy who I think was already getting hyped. Good week one preseason, made a highlight play or two. I think he's just going to keep going up draft boards. But
People love rookie running backs who haven't done anything wrong yet.
Especially when we love lazy analysis. Though.
Oh, yeah,
Matt Nagy offense, third round pick.
That's all I need to hear.
He's Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
Next.
I'm a big supporter of lazy analysis.
Yeah, we all are. So is that the right spot for him? Second pick of the fifth round. Again, 2 QB league. So if this is a not 1 QB league, we're moving him up now to early to mid fourth.
But just comparing him to the other running backs behind, is it okay for him to be ahead of Coleman and Lindsey?
See, I say
Matt's
no.
a big Coleman guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Coleman
I don't
guy.
love Coleman, but like I feel like Coleman should be ahead of Montgomery. I feel like Lindsey should be ahead of Montgomery.
Probably. I agree. I think Drake, too, but he's weird now because he's in a
just
walking
got dinged
boot,
up,
so
yeah.
that's a weird one. Maybe not. I mean, and Cohen, I feel like at least you know what you're getting with Cohen.
Oh, and a PPR for sure.
Yeah, PPR, I think Cohen should definitely be ahead of him.
Yeah.
But 25th running back, that's not crazy. No one went overboard and popped them like as high as they
It
popped
feels way better
Jacobs.
than Jacobs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then we had a couple of receivers. You got Calvin Ridley. So you took Galladay the round before.
Yep.
We should fill in. Kamara, Kelsey, Mixon. Mixon was a good pick there. Galladay, Ridley is where you're at now.
Right.
We're higher on Ridley specifically. I'm higher on Ridley than most other sites. So to get him in the 5th round, in my opinion, is really good value.
Right.
And we both think Galladay is a potential like top 12 type breakout.
Right. I will say, like, the key, like, to committing to somebody, and this is sort of broad, like, fantasy advice, but the key to, like, being high on somebody like Ridley, like, we're probably 10 or 12 spots higher on him than his ADP, like, makes that Kelsey pick more reasonable.
Right.
Because then I'm not, like, I've got to start 3 receivers, but then, like, I feel pretty good that a guy like Ridley, who we're way higher on, will still be there at a spot where to us he's a great value, even though in the broad drafting world he's just sort of whatever.
Right.
And so he sort of, if we're right, it works out really well.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised people aren't higher on him.
I like Ridley.
Isn't he like,
I mean, good
exciting,
offense.
cool player?
Well, yeah, I mean,
He's really good. I guess people just look at Julio.
Popular guy. People heard of him from college,
Is
right?
it just
Alabama.
because he was so up and down last year?
I
People
think so,
that's
but like,
what he is?
but he can't get better
as
and
a
more
rookie
consistent.
receiver?
I know.
Boo.
It's almost like you look at it like, well, he was up and down instead of like, wow, you got that much out of him in his rookie year.
Right.
Like now he can just work on like, being more consistent and whatever.
Because he's super talented and most guys get better.
He's got a good quarterback.
Right.
Good offense.
Plays
Attention's all on
inside.
the other
side.
Plays inside.
Attention's
We
on
like
the other
that.
side. It's the team without a great running game, so they're going to have to throw a lot.
Right.
In a dome. They don't sell Chick-fil-A on Sundays, but still pretty good. I don't know. I just think there's a lot to like about him potentially.
Do you put Chick-fil-A in I guess you still put it in a place like that? Even though, I mean, it's 8 or 10 with preseason, maybe some playoff games. Sundays.
Playoff games could be,
That's true. So I guess you still put it in, you just close it.
Yeah, I think that's what they do, right?
Closed on Sundays, yeah.
But, they still get some
probably
college games.
Well, they probably
Yeah.
play a Thursday night game,
Sure.
Monday night.
Yeah,
And a
as
long
lot,
as
lot
the
of lot of
Falcons-
concerts.
Yeah, there's other stuff there. You might
Would you
get
lobby
Final
harder
Four.
for Thursday and Monday night games if you were the Falcons?
Not if you're the Falcons.
No,
if
if
you're
you're Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, you
But I
would.
mean, the Falcons want people getting their Chick-fil-A too. I mean, they have.
they don't care.
Well, that's the stadium with the cheap concession prices.
That's true. They have the good deals. Like
Yeah.
you can just like live normally at
Arthur
the-
Blank,
at
man of the
Mercedes-Benz
people.
Stadium.
Arthur Blank, man.
That's a good deal. They fill it up well, and they fill it up for Atlanta United. They must sell a lot of Chick-fil-A at Atlanta
Great. Now we're
United.
going to talk
matches.
about soccer.
No, like
Way to bring this to a screeching halt.
Hey, it's football season all around the world.
That's true. Premier League started last week.
Yeah. No one cares.
Go Tottenham.
All right. No, see,
God,
now
that's
I'm
such
throwing
a
off my
that's such a
game.
like fatty like American thing to do is to like
Right.
Tottenham. It's
Yeah,
such
is
like
it?
a it's such
I
a
don't even know.
yeah.
That is?
That's the team.
That's the
yes.
team that's like-
yes, 100%.
More
thought it
than
was,
like
That is
Man
like
U.
that is like the last 10 years of like getting into the Premier League, picking Tottenham for sure, 100%.
I wish
all
I
my
could
friends
be.
are like United and Arsenal fans.
I wish I could be a listener to this and turn it off right now, but I'm stuck here doing
All
it.
right, moving on.
How many
moving on.
teams could Matt name in the Premier League?
I mean, I
There's
know,
20. How many could you name?
I know Leicester City.
Okay.
I know Man U.
Okay.
I know Tottenham.
Yeah.
The Spurs.
Yeah, you know them now. That's the same team though.
No, I know. That's what I
okay, I
said.
thought you
That's
were
what
trying
I
to-
said like the
Okay.
name to show that I knew it.
right.
I wasn't just repeating.
I don't know
the
if
name
I don't know if you can get to 10.
No chance.
No, I doubt it.
Okay.
Why would I be able to? I don't want to be able to. I'm proud.
You work
of
for
my
the zone, man.
ignorance.
You work for the
I'm
zone.
proud of my ignorance.
All right, whatever. Moving on.
No, who else? Well, can I just name cities and there has to be a Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah, see, I knew it. A Leeds.
Not
Not the top
almost. They almost made it last year. They lost in a playoff to get into the Premier League.
Right.
Tough for us, the zone employees, with that Leeds office.
Enough of this garbage. All right.
Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal,
I knew Chelsea. I knew the Arsenal. Classic.
Newcastle.
Classic teams. All right, so now we have fifth round.
Back to fantasy football
Back
talk.
to real football. We got receiver run at the end. We had 3 Rams receivers. I just think this is interesting. They went off within 5 picks of each other. Kupp went first, then Cooks, then Woods. Right order?
I love Cup this year.
Yeah.
PPR, maybe Woods. But Cooks, I don't know. I don't like Cup. I think Cup might not be what we saw of him before.
Oh, interesting. How come? Because White? He's a jerk.
Coming off the injury.
Fair.
I don't know. He was doing a little too much last year.
Doing too much. Well, and Robert Woods always gets 1 or 2 carries a game, which is interesting. Cup got some carries too. So here's, Billy and I were talking about this earlier off air. I don't know where you were, but
probably working,
preparing,
I
prepping.
Think all three sort of get, it's like rising tide raises all ships.
People are like, I just want to get one. I don't care when I draft it.
But I think people are scared to pick the wrong one.
Right.
So they all sort of get artificially deflated in value when it should be the opposite. Like all three can have fantasy value. We saw them do that last year when they were all active. Obviously a really good offense. I think they're all sort of getting lowered in value when it should, not necessarily they should get raised, but they should all go like a round higher. I think they're all going a round lower than they should. So that's kind of an interesting phenomenon with those three. Then we get into the 6th round. So finally we get more quarterbacks being taken. We had Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. I think it's weird Wilson. I understand that he's got, the receiver situation is cloudy, but I feel he's as good.
He always gets it done.
He always gets it done. Just pure talent-wise, he's as good as, Baker Mayfield, Matt Ryan.
I think these guys, these two guys that drafted these guys back-to-back in the, what did you say, we're in the 6th round?
Yep.
I don't know if they lucked into it. I don't know if it was their plan all along, but they waited till the 6th round and got 2 good quarterbacks.
Well, see, I'm not nearly as high on Newton because of the injury stuff.
But they're fine.
Yeah, I know he's fine, but I'm actually looking at Newton and think, you could have waited longer.
Yeah.
But Wilson, I think, is fantastic value.
Wilson might be the value of the draft when you consider if he's 98% of Baker Mayfield and you just got him 4.5 rounds later.
I just think people overdid, some of these guys at the beginning overdid the 2 quarterback thing because, again, it's not a 2 quarterback league.
Right.
So you get one good one, you figure out the other one.
So let me jump to this. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. But 5 people in this draft took a 3rd quarterback. All right? 29 total quarterbacks were taken. The only 3 starters who weren't taken were Eli Manning or Daniel Jones. The Giants, Redskins, Dolphins were the only 3 teams that did not have a starting quarterback taken. So 5 people got a 3rd one. How important to you is getting a 3rd quarterback in a league like this?
If he doesn't have upside, not. Like Joe Flacco, it's not a 2 quarterback league.
Right.
When the bye weeks come, you don't need to fill 2 quarterback spots.
I put this down. Here are the 5 3rd quarterbacks. Nick Foles, Josh Allen, Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco. So I looked at their fantasy points per game last year, average. Flacco was 15.2. I mean, he's on a new team now, but 15.2. Dalton, 15.9. Mariota, 12.5. Foles almost doesn't matter. He was up and down. Allen was good when he played. Point is, we're looking at somewhere between 12 and 16 fantasy points is probably about what that 3rd quarterback is going to average. So you think 1 week, or 2 weeks of the year, especially in a PPR league, that's 7 catches, 70 yards.
I think the PPR is a huge aspect to it too. If you're in like a standard Superflex league, if that's the thing, I mean, I'm sure it's a thing. Then it's a little harder to say. Like you could say, yeah, Joe Flacco's probably outscoring anybody else I'm picking in the 13th round. But
and they still do going into a week. If you can say, well, I'm going to get 15 points from Andy Dalton, you're going to feel better about that than anyone else you put in your Superflex. But it's certainly possible you could just get the 70 yards and a touchdown.
But I look at it more like I want more lottery tickets with those other positions.
Right. That's the big thing.
It's not so much
opportunity cost, roster spot.
If I have to suck it up that week and I get 8 from my flex instead of 15 from my quarterback, like I'm willing to take that risk to have another running back or wide receiver lottery ticket that I might need for all those other spots I got to play. If I got 2, even if I only got 2 okay quarterbacks, like if this 3rd one is as bad as Flacco, I'm never going to play him.
Right. Well, you're going to play him twice.
Well, but you might not.
Theoretically.
Maybe not.
That guy with Flacco, I mean, he has bad receiver. I mean, but he could it could be between Larry Fitzgerald and Joe Flacco in a bye week.
I mean, Flacco will average more points.
Maybe, I'm just saying I'd rather take a lotto ticket of another running back or receiver. I think it's not a 2 quarterback league.
Right.
There is another out. You can play another guy. I mean, there's guys in our leagues that when we have a regular flex that play a second tight end, and we wouldn't really want to do that, but sometimes you have to, and it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in PPR gives you a whole lot more options too. So I agree with that. I don't think targeting.
Now, Josh Allen, I'll take him on my team.
Well,
It's my
yeah,
third
we know
quarterback.
that, but I mean, what good is he if he's on your bench?
Right. If you got upside, if it's one of these young guys, but these guys, some of the guys you mentioned don't really have like a ton of upside, I don't think.
Yeah, I think Mariota has some, but
Yeah, he can pop off his 4 TD game once a year.
and he get those rushing stats.
He might be in
he
your
does it more than once a year.
he might be in your
Twice.
flex that day.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was that. So back to the 7th round. So now
We are jumping around, so like I don't know
a
how
little bit.
someone follows this.
That's
We're
easy
just gonna have
follow.
to. We're just gonna have to put the picture in the. In the
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, we're talking concepts here. I mean, no one cares about the specific pick by pick. So 7th round is where we have our second quarterback run. 6 quarterbacks popped off in the 7th round. So that I wonder if that's consistent between drafts. If it's like you have a bunch early and then a lull and then a bunch go in the 7th.
Well, yeah, now because when someone takes one or two people take him in a row, everyone after starts freaking out because there's less out there.
So here's the run. It starts with the first pick of the 7th, Carson Wentz, then Jameis Winston with the next pick. Then we go a few picks later, we have Drew Brees. Then we have 3 in a row after O.J. Howard pick, a Juice Howard pick of Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott. So Kyler Murray, the 13th quarterback drafted in the 7th round, mid-7th round. Is that right for him? Notable quarterbacks drafted after him: Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady, Mitch Trubisky, etc.
I think it's important to note that guy already had Mahomes.
Right?
I think you're like pretty confident Mahomes is going to be Mahomes.
Right.
And you got a little room for error. Like if Kyler like only is the 22nd best quarterback, like, well, you have Mahomes and it sort of balances out. And if Kyler's it's like a top 10 quarterback, like I'm sure some people are touting him as, all of a sudden you're
Top
looking
5.
really pretty.
Can I ask why everyone hates Breeze so much this year?
He's short.
Oh, okay. Has he shrunk?
Short and old.
Did he used to be tall?
Well, I mean, you get shorter as you age.
It's true.
He's crossed that line.
It's true. Okay.
I mean, he already got his certificate.
Got it.
We remember that last year.
That was a big day.
Yeah.
For him and for the rest
It
of
was
us.
a bigger one for us.
Yeah.
Riffing on that podcast about him getting his certificate in the middle of a game. What was it? Yardage record holder?
It's just, most yards, right?
He got a certificate. What a loser. But no, I mean, how high? Who do you think you should go ahead of?
Winston.
You can go ahead of Winston.
Yeah, I agree.
You were hating on Cam. You can go ahead of Cam.
I agree.
I have no problem with that.
I think he should be ahead of Wentz too. So yeah,
that's
I think
fine.
he should go higher in the hierarchy. But then again, I think Jared Goff should go ahead of him. He went behind him.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Rivers. You want to talk about getting hated on? What's Rivers? Is it just because of him?
And I fall into it so much. He'll like never be on my fantasy team.
Right.
I never consider him. Wherever he's ranked, and I'm like, all right, I'm waiting on a quarterback. Does this man? I don't even put him. I'm like, I got to get someone before I have to take Rivers. And he does fine. He does good. I don't know why.
Every year, it's 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns.
I don't know why.
Every year.
It's the short arm throw, man. I can't take it.
And it's just his general demeanor.
Yeah, his bolo ties.
Did you guys see that somebody did some fooling around in Madden and made a team in Madden that was Rivers, his wife, and their 9 kids?
It's a pretty good team. I'd like to see that.
He's got them all in his van driving to the stadium.
Yeah, his custom car.
This is why we don't draft him.
He throws a lot of picks, although those have been going down lately.
26 touchdowns in 11 straight years.
And his last, so he's had 4,000 plus yards in all but one of
That's
the
today's
last
NFL,
11
though.
years.
It's today's NFL.
This guy also drafted Keenan Allen, kind of like and Melvin Gordon,
Listen,
big Chargers guy.
If you can't throw for 4,000 yards, you shouldn't be a quarterback in the NFL these days.
So even Lamar Jackson then?
Well, he's
Because he
different.
really
He's
shouldn't,
different.
based on that logic. No, I just feel Rivers is the guy who's getting shortchanged a bit
Yeah, for sure.
in all this. But
That guy got great value. Russell Wilson, Phil Rivers.
yeah,
in
that
round
looks
6
really
and
good.
8.
Now, he might ruin that value because he took Melvin Gordon, who might not play, Le'Veon Bell, who's been out a year, but,
Yeah. wants
you
to
know,
be a
the
rapper.
draft ebbs and flows.
Sure does. Well, let's talk about Melvin Gordon then with that pick. He took Gordon in the 3rd round, and then he took Eckler in
Yeah.
the 9th.
I like it.
Someone
you know
else
I love that stuff.
took Justin Jackson in the 12th.
Yep.
Do you think if you draft Melvin Gordon, you should get both?
That's a lot of roster spots.
Otherwise, you're just flipping a coin, though.
You are. But there's probably going to be a carry split if he's not
Right.
around, so you get something out of it.
Yeah,
Take the receiving back in a PPR.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackson, though, could score more touchdowns. I just kind of think Eckler's better and is ultimately going to produce more. But I think he should go higher than the 9th round. whether you drafted
Well,
Gordon
again,
or
this
not.
draft is different.
I know it's different, but
I also, like every day that goes by with Gordon looking no more likely to show up and play for the Chargers is a day that Eckler will go higher.
To me, he's when it's Gordon versus Zeke, Zeke's got 2 years left on his deal.
Right.
Like, I feel like he has to show up.
Right.
Like, Gordon is in the last year of his deal. Like, he doesn't have to.
Right.
If
feels like he's going to hold out.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if they're going to trade him. I don't know if they're just all going to play hardball.
Yeah.
Or what's going to happen.
I'm more scared of him than Zeke.
Yeah, I think everyone is, for sure. And now some other things, too. This is where we kind of start seeing some of the backup running backs go, the handcuffs. We started seeing it a little earlier, I guess, like Miles Sanders went in the 6th round, Darius Geis went in the 6th round, but here we got 8th round, Darrell Henderson. I don't even know if Freeman counts as a handcuff. He probably should have gone higher.
Royce Freeman.
Right.
Yeah.
Did I say someone else?
No, you said Freeman.
Okay.
I didn't want to confuse
Devontae. Yeah. Royce Freeman. Kalen Ballage went in that round, which is way too high, in my opinion.
Well, until today.
Right.
Well, yeah, I guess, and until Drake wound up in a walking boot. So we start seeing some of them. First pick of the 9th round was Carlos Hyde, and I've already mentioned Eckler in the 9th round. So this is where you're going to start. So move them up all around, round and a half in a non-2QB / Superflex league is where you're going to start seeing those guys start flying off the board. Is there one guy that, and you're looking at this too, and you're seeing Freeman didn't get drafted by the Lindsey guy.
Right.
Ballage didn't get drafted by the Drake guy. So people are just grabbing other people's handcuffs.
Sure.
And I think that's something you like to do.
I just like to take a lot of running backs, and I inadvertently run into everyone else's handcuffs. I like to take my own handcuffs too.
But do you think those people should make a point? Or are those like the quote-unquote premium handcuffs, and you're just like, yeah, I can't?
Well, Ballage is almost, injury aside that we found out about today with Drake, he's almost like just a committee dude that you draft when you feel like it.
Right.
I don't think he's really a handcuff.
Right. I think Royce Freeman sort of falls into that too.
He's close to that too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Henderson's a handcuff.
Yes.
And even if you think, he's going to get more touches, they're going to limit Gurley's touches. I don't know if he has much value if Gurley's healthy.
That's early. It's early for Henderson for sure.
Right, and it wasn't the Gurley guy.
Right. There's going to be people. There's going to be running. Well, there are running backs after him who are going to play. Like Eckler's going to play a little regardless, right? So that's
and Hyde will.
That's early for Henderson, and we don't even know if Henderson's the backup.
Right. We assume he is.
We assume he is.
Pick,
but they got that John Kelly guy who they really liked last year.
And Malcolm Brown, who they liked last year.
So you don't know if he's just going to come in and get everything.
Right.
So that's a little early there.
Yeah, those are kind of weird. I mean, and a couple teams at this point hadn't had any running backs drafted, like the Bucs. Their running backs didn't go till the 10th round. They went within 5 picks of each other. The Bills, LaShawn McCoy, first Bills back taken in the 11th round. Wow. So there's some hate there, for sure, for those guys. And
I like this. It's like Josh Allen, the Bills' leading rusher, went before.
That's right.
They're running back. So.
Why wouldn't he? Yeah, Derek Carr. So back to your draft specifically, Billy. You had taken 4 receivers in a row in rounds 4 through 7.
Right.
Galladay, Ridley, Jarvis Landry, and AJ Green. So you took him in the 7th round, early 7th round. I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, it felt right. Mm-hmm. Again, I
mean, he might only miss 2 games.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I like it. I love taking guys like that.
He was another guy that I felt protected by the Kelsey pick.
And he was your 4th receiver, so you don't need him, per se.
Right. I'll be safe, at least early on.
So you kind of took him at the expense of your regular flex, which wound up, just based on draft order, is Nyheim Hines.
Right.
Who I think is perfectly fine to start in your flex in a PPR league.
Yeah. Right, and I get Deion Lewis 2 rounds later than him too, which fits the same bill.
Yeah, and
if I've got to start one of them for a couple weeks while Green figures out how to maybe be healthy for a little while, that's all right.
So you were one of the last people to draft your first quarterback. I think only one person. Yeah, you were second to last person to draft a first quarterback. 9th round, you took Kirk Cousins, and then you took your second quarterback 2 rounds later. 11th round, Derek Carr. So Cousins and Carr, I think a lot of people would look at that and really wrinkle their nose and say that sucks.
Yeah.
We're higher on Cousins than most people. We're higher on Carr than most people.
Yeah.
I think Cousins was the right pick. I probably would have taken Josh Allen. We know Eric would have taken Josh Allen instead of Derek
Definitely over Carr, for sure.
Yeah, wouldn't even think twice.
But I think that combo of quarterbacks, I think it's fine. That combo of quarterbacks equals kind of like in a regular league with one quarterback, the last guy to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think you're behind everyone by doing that.
And the very last guy to take his first quarterback, he took Tom Brady in the 9th, and then he took Matthew Stafford in the 12th. I mean, I would take Stafford over Brady.
Combined age of
So it's Stafford's not that old,
But Brady is.
Brady and Brady and his stunt double.
I mean,
that he sent in preseason games.
I mean, Stafford's 30.
Yeah, he's over 30.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on.
72 years.
At least.
70, yeah, give or take. And yeah, but that is the question. Do you get Tom Brady's preseason stunt double if you draft Tom Brady?
You're really pushing that bit, aren't you?
This is my Aaron Rodgers had a torn ACL last year. I'm convinced Tom Brady doesn't actually attend preseason games. And he just sends a guy who kind of looks like him because he knows he's not going to play. But yeah, so I think that quarterback combo will get the job done. But it's one of those things you get in the league and you're like, damn it, I really wish I had Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tough to say.
It all equals out. I mean, like, nobody else has Travis Kelce, right?
Right.
So.
Right.
No, it actually doesn't equal out because someone will win the league. So
Yeah.
some of these people this will work
It's
for,
true. It's
and
not,
some
it's not
it won't.
1 = 2 = 3 = 4 = 5.
Like you guys all didn't draft the same amount of points.
But you look at people where you say, oh, this guy's starting Wentz Darnold. Okay, you're not scared of that. Another person's starting Roethlisberger Trubisky. Fine. Pretty similar, I'd say, to Cousins' Carr. Another person, we got Goff Lamar Jackson. Pretty similar. Prescott, well, that one's got Deshaun Watson, so that's pretty good. Brady Stafford. Okay.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers Garoppolo even. For a guy who took a quarterback in the first round, that his combo is Rodgers Garoppolo. Pretty weak.
Yeah. Depends what Garoppolo you get, I guess.
Yeah. You're not Rodgers?
You're getting
You're getting
the attractiveness points there, though.
That is a good-looking quarter. Yeah, well, let's figure out who has the best-looking quarterback combo. That's got to be
It's Cam
one.
Breeze and Josh Allen, and I'm not even
That's not the best-looking.
Oh, best. I thought you meant like.
Cam's
No, I
hot.
thought you meant like.
Oh.
Like on your team.
No,
No,
best-looking.
Visually
You
appealing.
think Drew Brees is attractive?
No, I mean he's whatever.
Weirdo.
He's
All right.
whatever.
Because Wilson Rivers, throw that out. Rivers is too much of a
Yeah.
goon. Mahomes Murray. Mahomes
That's
is
got a
weird.
shot.
Goff Jackson.
But, I
Brady
mean,
Stafford.
Nah, Stafford and his Van Heusen's.
Yeah, he wears Van Heusen.
He wears
Sharp.
Van Heusen shirts, Ugg shoes.
Yeah, that's a weird.
People think Rodgers is good looking. I don't think so, but
He's
you've got,
dating Danica Patrick.
you've got Garoppolo bringing
His
that up.
brother was on The Bachelorette.
Yeah, I mean they're probably the best looking.
Yeah, I mean, Luck Mayfield, throw that out.
Yeah.
Luck's too much of a goon.
Well, that team's got bad facial hair all around. Mayfield with his mustache, Luck with his neck beard.
So who are we saying?
I think it's Rodgers.
yeah, it's
Garoppolo.
Rodgers.
Luck
Garoppolo.
Mayfield also has Joe Flacco to add to the bad quarterback room like appearance stuff.
I think
going
it's,
on.
yeah.
Rodgers
man,
Garoppolo wins.
it's tough to find two good-looking quarterbacks. Something to think about, people. Something to think about. All right.
Don't think about it, guys.
That's what we're here for.
That's we're here to help. So some other, sort of, I think some interesting picks. Kareem Hunt went in the 11th round.
Now, who did he go to?
Nope.
He didn't go to Chubb guy.
He didn't.
No.
So
I'll tell you what. As a Chubb owner, I would love to get Kareem Hunt in the 11th round.
See, I almost don't think it matters. It's like you just are eating a roster spot. He's not going to.
But in the 11th round, I'm very happy
And you're
with
eating
it.
a roster spot for 10 weeks, 9 weeks.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Do we?
Yeah, we take idiots like
Who we don't think are going to play for 9 weeks?
Yeah, like Henderson, who might never play. We take those
but
upside backs.
But no. Henderson could play week 2.
Right, sure, but
He cannot even go in the building.
we have taken and held guys
Yes.
behind superstar running backs a
because they have
million
a
times.
chance to play.
Right.
Kareem Hunt.
And they often
Can't
don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you
get
often drop them like week 4 and you just like move on with your life.
Kareem Hunt, I don't know. Because it's not. I think some people are looking at it as if, he'll come back and might be
I
the
just
lead
feel like
back.
you want it both.
He's a handcuff.
But you want it both.
Can't use for for 10 weeks.
Here's my problem with you again, though.
Oh God.
It's the same thing.
Let's get
You can't-
personal.
But you can't have it both ways. You don't like Chubb because of Kareem Hunt, but you don't want to get Kareem Hunt because you can't play him for 9 weeks.
Yes, I can have that both ways.
No.
Yes, I
You can't-
absolutely.
You totally can have it both ways.
No.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
Chubb loses value,
Burger
but
King,
you
bro.
don't like
Have it my
Hunt's
way.
Yeah.
But you don't like Hunt's value enough.
I don't like it.
Right. All right. Well,
I don't like
draft
it.
Kareem Hunt in the
I might.
6th round. Take him in the 6th
I
round.
just said in the 11th round, that's pretty
No,
good.
take him in the 5th and see what happens.
All right,
We'll
cool.
see if you win your league.
All right, cool.
Take
I
Kareem-
can't wait to beat your ass in
Taking
fantasy this
Kareem
year.
Hunt. Oh, God, let's bet money on it. How about this one? Mark Andrews, 11th tight end off the board. Now, it's in the 11th round.
I can't even find him. Can you tell me where he is on this
Right
thing?
next to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
I
right
can't.
by him.
Where's Hunt? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. 11th round, Mark Andrews. I mean, this is a guy, I was reading his Roto World updates, and he had a great one where it was like, he's the most dangerous weapon on the field. Like,
Lamar Jackson? Mark Ingram?
has been the Ravens' quote, most dangerous and productive offensive player in training camp.
Well, maybe he carries a knife. I don't know.
That's what I was
He's
thinking.
so
Last Boy
dangerous.
Scout style. He's just got a gun.
I mean, Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram.
So the same beat writer who wrote that earlier in the preseason wrote, Mark Andrews looks bigger, stronger, and faster.
Well,
I think
that's
guy
a classic
is like,
preseason nugget.
Is this guy's last name Andrews?
Yeah.
No, but
Jim Andrews.
might be.
Roto World
I mean,
writer.
Nick Boyle is the starter there, which is funny. I mean, he's a blocker, but Andrews.
Let's be honest. That team's going to be playing 2 tight ends a lot.
Well, they are, but it's also just.
But they're also gonna be running a lot.
I don't think they're going to throw enough, and I don't think Lamar Jackson's good enough. Like, Andrews would have to have a high touchdown year, like sort of one of those 501 yards and 9 touchdown years for him to really pay off to me as a starting tight end. I just don't see it.
Is he this guy starting tight end?
Yeah, he was the 11th overall tight end.
Well, let's see what else he did. Watson, Chubb, Fournette. These guys got risk everywhere. T.Y., Cooks.
Williams, Dak. I mean, it's a fine team. Gets the job
It's a
done.
fine team.
It's fine.
He's got Jordan Reed,
Acceptable.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean he's a starting tight end.
Well, he took him ahead of Jordan
Yeah, well, he
Reed.
knew he was dangerous. He had to get him
He
early.
took him in the 11th round, armed and dangerous, Mark Andrews. But just in general, so some notable tight ends who went after him. Trey Burton, Kyle Rudolph, Delaney Walker, Jordan Reed, Greg Olson, Austin Hooper, Noah Fart, got it. So, I don't know. I just think people are going overboard with this Mark Andrews.
Yeah, they probably. He's a waiver wire tight end.
Yeah, but he's being drafted in every league because of this one guy is single-handedly driving up Mark Andrews' ADP
Like
by
insider
50
trading.
spots.
It's like insider
If
trading.
Jeff Zrebiec.
If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the tight end position this year, though, that one little bit of helium makes Mark Andrews go from nobody drafting him to everybody drafting him, it's just a mess.
And drafting him as a
and where
starter.
is,
we should start putting out news about
Where's Gronk on this list? No one
No,
took him?
one took him.
somebody did take Josh Gordon though.
Yeah. I totally get why no one wants to draft Delaney Walker or Greg Olson or Jordan Reed. I mean, I get it.
Right.
But I don't know. Talking yourself into Mark Andrews seems like you're trying too
Listen,
hard to
you
not
can get
draft
Mark
him.
Andrews in the week 1 waiver wire.
Well, but you can't. He's going to get
But
drafted.
you might be able to get him in the week 3 waiver wire.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
good
Where's
point.
my boy Jasecki? Is he on here?
No, he's got a lot of bad buzz, man.
Also, no Jacoby Myers.
That's
which
what I like.
surprises me.
I like some bad buzz.
I can't. Yeah, me too. I can't
I'm
believe
surprised Jacoby's not in there. That's a good point.
in an industry mock draft where everyone's trying to peacock
Yeah.
that Jacoby Myers
And
didn't
it's
get drafted.
PPR.
Yeah, that's actually. I wonder if he
Hey,
almost wasn't on
Belichick
the
says
list.
he's got a long way to
Preston
go.
Williams either.
Let's not put him in Canton
Well,
yet.
did you read?
I
Another,
love that. I love when Belichick doesn't put people in
What
Canton.
about? But okay, so
That's so great.
another Roto World. This is a great one. So N'Keal Harry, right? Who's been hurt? Roto World.
Oh, they locked him into a starting job, right?
Locked in.
Locked in.
Locked in.
With that team. With
Rookie
that team.
receivers in New England.
hasn't practiced.
Nothing to worry about. So we got some interesting ones there.
Honestly, the guy Kareem Hunt also took Golden Tate and Josh Gordon. Big suspension.
Nice. Watch out
That
for
was
him.
that's such a classic mock draft.
Come
I
week
don't care.
10, come week 10, that guy is.
Yeah. But it's a
winning
mock,
the
so
league.
he's
a
like,
mock.
I don't care.
Right.
Check it out. Look at my cool,
Yeah.
all the cool names
I
on
don't
my
care.
team. Yeah, he was peacocking hard at the end of that draft. He checked out. You stayed strong, though.
Thanks.
You stayed true to the game. Your final
Let's rip this kid apart. What did he do wrong?
5 picks. Well, hold on. Well, I'll go in on his T.J. Hawkinson, but Jalen Samuels in the 12th. Very fair. Deshaun Jackson in the 13th.
Is he qualifying? He's just straight up
He's
running
just
back,
running
right?
back, yeah.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson in the 13th. Great value.
Hey, he's a first round pick in some leagues.
Look, man, my brother did a draft last weekend, and Deshaun Jackson went 8th overall, and
You got great value.
I think just
You got
throw
great value.
just stop
Think
the
about
league.
that. I got him
and
at
delete it.
pick 147.
Good value.
I don't. Yeah.
Good value.
I would just
That's
stop the league.
139 pick difference.
If you average the two, he should go pick 75.
Good
Devin
math.
Funchess
Buddy.
in the 14th. I think people are really sort of sleeping on him, which is kind of weird to me because he's not great, but he's also not bad. And he's on a good offense.
If he's like the second receiver for Luck, now obviously there are other pass
Yeah.
catchers there, but if he's always on the field and Andrew Luck is also on the field,
Right.
he'll have a plenty good season.
14th
for
round.
14th
Definitely helps
rounder.
when you're on the field.
way too. It does help.
A lot easier to get
It
stats
is hard
that way.
to, yeah.
Well, sometimes quarterbacks throw incompletions that are caught out of bounds. Or throw completions. And then you took,
and they throw the ball away.
You took Juice Hawkinson in the second to last round. That to me feels like almost like a throwaway pick. Like, who cares? But got to pick someone, so you might as well take a
It's got a little
rookie
upside.
with upside. And then your last pick was Jamal Williams, so you were snatching up someone else's handcuff there. Might as well. It's the last pick. So overall, I think you said you got an A, right?
Fantasy Alarm gave me an A.
So is that computer generated, or did someone actually rate them?
No, it's a computer generated.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Pretty good, though.
They gave you a lot of points for the AJ Green pick.
Yeah.
Could be, but hey, you got to game the system somehow, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I was
getting
drafting
getting that
an A
draft
on
grade.
Fantasy Alarm.
That's what it's all about, getting a good draft grade.
It really is. I think that's. So I would have taken Darwin Thompson instead of Jamal Williams, but that's just me because I'm a big Darwin guy.
You know, it didn't occur to me that he was still there.
It's my boy Damian Harris.
I do like
Harris
Darwin.
got drafted.
Yeah, I mean Madison.
I was gonna take McKinnon, but he got picked a little before me. I mean, like obviously he could be hurt, but like
right.
nobody really knows.
Notable handcuffs. We mentioned some of them already. Jalen Samuels, 12th round. Devin Singletary, 12th round. We had a Justice Hill, 13th round.
Yuck.
No Gus Edwards. I think that people are excited about Justice Hill and treating Gus Edwards like he didn't have a really good year last year, which I don't totally get. We had Jordan Scarlett. That was by the McCaffrey guys, so that was someone playing it straight.
Damian Harris in the 14th round feels actually pretty good.
So I guess I should ask you, because you took Kamara 3rd overall, you didn't make a point to get Lat Murray.
Yeah, he feels like one of those guys that's like...
He went in the 10th round.
Yeah. To me, he feels like one of those guys who's like a little too much standalone value for like the way I draft to like try to handcuff him with. Like,
because then you got to reach, and all of a sudden you're taking him in the 7th or 8th.
Right. Like if I wanted to make sure, I would have had to take him.
So guys, though, but let's look at it this way: guys, you took instead of him, quote unquote.
Yeah, I don't know which way this round was going, but
Naheem Hines, you took ahead of him.
you went Lewis in the same round as Murray.
After though.
After.
That's after. Okay.
And you took Cousins because you didn't have a quarterback yet.
Right.
Because I would think 7th round where you took AJ Green, I would take AJ Green. I wouldn't. Right. So it really would have been the 8th or 9th round picks. You probably did need it. So it was really, would you rather have Hines or Murray?
Hines. I also just like don't think handcuffing can pay off.
Right.
I like don't really like to do it. It like you sort of have to hold on to the guy. He's like burning a roster spot. If your guy's not getting hurt, you don't really want to get rid of his handcuff if you have a stud and you have his handcuff.
And then you took Joe Mixon, didn't get Bernard. Bernard went at the end of the 13th round.
But Bernard, there would have been a case for. But again, like
because that's pretty
I don't
late.
really
like you
handcuff.
took Jalen Samuels in the 12th.
Right.
That could have been Bernard.
Right.
It's probably similar value.
I guess that just shows how I draft. Like I feel like every draft I do, I don't even really think about handcuffing.
Gotcha.
And maybe that's stupid, but
very stupid.
Well, Matt's not in a handcuffing. You don't like it.
I'm the backup quarterback.
I don't draft a backup quarterback either, but I'm a handcuffer.
Stole that move from me though. You used to always draft a backup.
Well, I used to draft bad quarterbacks. Now I've done a little bit better.
Stole that move from me. I was the first guy to not draft a backup.
You're the first guy to conserve roster spots.
Football.
You're so smart.
First guy who ever tried that.
God, you're good at fantasy football.
You know whose birthday it is today? Tim Tebow. Turns 32.
Oh, that's cool.
Segued right into that.
Yeah.
And backup quarterback.
Good for Tim Tebow.
It felt as good a segue as we were going to get on the show.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
okay, he's been waiting to pop that one in.
Didn't need to be said, I guess, but why not? Yeah, so Tony Pollard went in the 14th round. Mike Davis, 15th. I think that's way too low for him.
Yeah, that's really low.
Mentioned Jordan Scarlett. We had some other guys like that. Darius Jackson, 16th round. I don't know if there was any notable handcuffs who didn't go. Probably Darwin Thompson.
But like Tide's there, right? So
yeah, no one took Chase Edmonds. The David Johnson guy didn't take. No one took the Barkley guy. Didn't take Wayne Gallman. That's the kind of thing in a real draft might happen.
Yeah.
Whereas, and obviously there's no defenses or kickers here, which changes the equation too. But I would think that Wayne Gallman, as bad of a back as he is, no C.J. Anderson either. I think if you have Kerryon Johnson for as injury prone as he is, or at least we kind of think he might be. And as good as C.J. Anderson,
yeah,
he
I
did.
saw him on there somewhere.
And as good as he was last year, C.J. Anderson, I would think he's another guy who should go in draft.
She's a playoff performer.
Juice, another Juice Anderson. So there you go.
How good a team could you have if you picked all Juices, all something J's?
Who'd be your quarterback? Would it have to be A.J. McCarron? Because I feel that hurts you.
Juice McCarron.
If you're starting Juice McCarron, you're in trouble. But you can get.
Hurt you.
I mean, it wouldn't be very good.
No.
It wouldn't be very good.
Can you go with Juice Garoppolo?
No.
Jimmy, no, I can't.
What? How?
I'm looking for a quarterback that you can go juice
Just with a J?
I don't think you can.
No.
Jimmy G, like you could sort of just throw juice in there.
Yeah, you'd have to do the move where you say Lamar Jackson is LJ and really.
Oh, you're not giving me Jimmy Juice Garoppolo, but you're giving me Lamar
No,
Jackson?
that's nothing like it.
Okay, well, neither
Wait,
is
are you
Lamar
trying to make
Jackson.
it sound like gin and juice?
Oh, that's a pretty
Jimmy
good one.
Juice?
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, Jimmy Juice though. I don't want to think about that too much.
I did try years and years and years ago. I did try and make a Madden team out of all Joneses,
Yeah,
and I forgot back then who would have been my quarterback if I could have found some backup that was Jones. But
Jones.
I mean,
or at least I tried to do all my position players.
Yeah.
like all the guys who acquired stats, Joneses.
There's always the, what if you did all from one college?
Right.
What's the best college?
Because I like to root for my guys, so I just pick all my favorite
This
players.
is my heart, not my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong
I
with
hate that. God, I hate that.
going.
You know you can root for all those guys anyway, and then you can make a fantasy team that can actually compete, right?
Nope.
You have to put them on your fantasy team because you like rooting for them.
Nope, can't do it that way. So anyway, that's this draft. It was a good draft. I think it's interesting with the Superflex. I think that's going to
Superflex with Superflex
hit
in.
that hard. Yeah, I think we're going to start. Remember like when PPR was kind of like, oh, it was a thing some people did, and now it's like the standard. I actually think that's what's going to start. I mean, there's just too many passes being thrown nowadays.
Today's NFL,
Since
bro.
today's NFL?
Today's
The
NFL.
modern
Until
NFL?
Belichick changed it. We're running.
Belichick's gonna change
We're
it?
running every down this year.
Hey, do you see how many running backs he has? He might be changing it this year.
We changed it
He's
to
going to take the GOAT and
we
have him hand
got
off
the
40 times a game.
two tight ends and the spread, and now we're going
I
back old
actually
school.
think Brady might get cut.
His stunt double throws a good
he
ball.
sold his house.
His stunt double throws a
put it
good
on
ball.
The market.
Well, he's,
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
it's as good as
he
sold.
said it's a little pricey. It takes a while to sell expensive
got to
houses.
put it up early. So so we're running that down, and
What overpaid Boston athlete's going to buy that house for $40 million? What Celtic or Red Sox that gets overpaid is going to be living in that
Kemba?
house?
Kemba, yeah.
Kemba,
Kemba's
he
lined
sold
up. He
just
just
for
got the new
Kemba.
what if Terry Rozier goes back and buys it?
He probably would. Even another
would.
bad decision
That
for
seems
that
like a
dude.
funny Terry Rozier kind of move.
Yeah. So that's that draft. Like I said, it's gonna start becoming the norm. So you guys, I don't know if people might be a little slow to it, but you at least got to start thinking about this.
I was
kind of
thinking about floating it out to my dynasty league.
thing. Yeah.
But it's weird. When do you bring that up for a keeper or dynasty league?
Right.
Like it can't be this year.
Right.
Right. Too
And
late.
if it's next year, I kind of have to bring it up before the draft, don't I?
you
Yep.
do.
So I don't know. And I think they'll probably freak out.
Yeah. It's tough to make. Like we're getting rid of kickers this year.
Yeah, it's big.
No one complained though,
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah.
But you can do these things, people. You're in charge.
That hurts for our kicker ranking page views, though. All the office page views. now.
Yeah,
A lot of
Like
people
kicker
from the
rankings.
office are definitely looking up
I'm
those
willing to
rankings.
sacrifice those page views. But you can make these changes. You hear people all the time like, "God, it's so stupid. We have this or that." I'm like, you can
You
change
can
the
fix
settings.
it. Well, you know what I want to change. I'm sick of playing
Yeah,
people every
yeah.
week. I want to play all 11 team. If 12 team league, I want to play 11 games a week. So
Is
that
there a specific name for that?
well, on the old CBS site, it
against
was
all?
well the view of standings was called breakdown. So I would just refer to it as a breakdown league.
Right.
Because if you're the fourth highest scorer in the league, you go 7-4.
Right. But
And
that's-
it's not a complete loss.
isn't that
and then
what
the
makes
playoffs
fantasy
at the,
football great?
but then no, it's
Terrible.
not.
Isn't
I mean,
it, though?
it's like
But at the end of the year, you've got 100 and something games to like
Right.
break up the standings with instead of 13.
right.
But I play to my opponent.
Okay.
I play to my opponent.
Okay.
I'm like, what do I need to win this? I'm like Jack Morris.
But it eliminates the bye week. Oh, I played the guy. I didn't get to play anybody on like no bye weeks
Right.
or whatever. Or you played the dude when he didn't have Mahomes.
right.
So now everyone gets to play the
I
guy.
play the
when
guy who
he
put up
Mahomes.
Kelsey. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I play to my opponent.
No,
That's
you
what I do. I try to set my lineup to
just get like
just trying to win my
of a point higher
one.
than him.
That's all I'm trying to do. So that would totally change my strategy. I don't know how I'd function doing
You'd
that.
actually
Cool.
have
So my ideas aren't good, but yours are good. Cool. Got it.
I mean, most of mine are really good.
I like Eric's idea.
I think
I
Thanks.
play in
2 to
fantasy
1.
baseball league
We
like
win.
that.
oh, is that all it takes?
That's how it works in a 3-man.
You're not-
in a 3-man pod.
Maybe
And
in
he's
the
got
league
the
where
big-
you're commissioner.
Eric's got the big microphone though too. You guys
That's right. I've got the biggest mic in the 3-man pod.
You do have a big mic with full of Jimmy juice. You got the biggest mic. So all right. So we better end this now because we're getting a little slap happy. But go to sportingnews.com/fantasy where you can find rankings, sleepers, draft strategy, dollar values, mock drafts, everything. IDP.
Team names.
Oh God, so many team
No
names.
pun intended.
I'm gonna add in Jimmy Juice now.
Can you add in no pun intended, please?
No pun intended?
Yeah.
I thought it was in there.
In the team names?
Well, because all the team names are usually puns off players' names, so it's like that's a little too
So
generic.
just put no puns intended right at the top.
Put it with all the punting team names.
Yeah, there's not any. We have some kickers though.
Yeah.
Like the Hauschka always wins. Yippee Ki-Yay, Justin Tucker. we got some good ones. So that's going to get the people to the site. Anyway,
Who's the best team name candidate on my team that I drafted? Real quick?
Oh, let's see. Lights, Kamara, Action.
Oh, that's a
Kamara,
good
Shy. Kelsey Lately. Mixon Administration. Catalina Wine Mixon.
I don't even have time. Well, he's probably.
Galladay and Express.
You're not thinking of these. These are from your team name thing?
Well, I thought of them before.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm plagiarizing
All right, well-
myself. So I think that's okay. Jim Tan Landry for Jarvis Landry.
That's good.
Green New Deal for AJ Green.
What's Green New Deal?
Pick up a book, a newspaper, which you made fun
What's
of me
Green
for
New Deal?
reading. You never heard of the Green New Deal?
Oh, like historically?
Politics.
Oh, like the New Deal? Oh, yeah, okay.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay.
Might wanna
Like
look
modern
into it.
politics, like is it the Green New Deal?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
Like
see.
Elizabeth
I mean,
Warren.
Heinz
Got it.
57 obviously got Naheem. You could do that one for
Oh,
Naheem
I
Hines.
like
Obviously,
that.
Kissing Cousins. There's a lot you can do with him. Dion Lewis, Wrong Hill to Dion. You can do that one. Derek Carr.
I think he just asked for the best team name.
Derek Carr writes
I kind of like
itself.
this better.
Let's see. Deshaun of the Dead for Deshaun Jackson. The Funchess Bunch. That's a good one. Hawkinson Alugi. We can do that. There's a lot.
Cool. I'm glad I contributed to that
I think
segment.
Catalina Wine Mixin, though, is my favorite. But you have to be a Step Brothers fan to really be into that one. Yeah, what's yours?
I don't have any.
Oh, you're done?
You just blew them all out of the water.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be done with TJ Hawkinson and
I wish I had
and Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but I don't
Sure.
quite know how to mix
I
it.
wish I had the biggest mic because I would have just dropped it, but I can't.
I don't think I can drop this mic.
No.
It's like,
It's big,
it's
though.
big. It's a big
I hope
mic.
people know that.
It's a
is
big mic.
All right, we're out of here. We're done. Time to stop this tomfoolery. For Eric Ferreira, Billy Hay, and I'm Matt Letuski. Thanks for listening, and until next time.